Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself and all my partners. My name is Dinda Annisa Syahida and my partner Andi Atirah, Arimbi Putri, Irma Setyaningsih, and Sindi Natalia. We are from 7th group. Today we are going to discuss about the interpretation of Sibling RIVALRY in picture books.
So my name is Irma Setyaningsih. For the contents of our discussion in this presentation, there are the first one, the reason why we choose sibling rivalry as a topic, the theoretical framework, the picture books we choose, the analysis of sibling rivalry in the books, and the last one is the advantages or lessons we can take from the books. So before we jump into the discussion about sibling rivalry, here I'm going to explain why sibling relationship is actually important to talk about. So according to Buis et al., there are 5 reasons why sibling relationship is important. The first one, based on research by Milevsky, around 90% of the population have a sibling. And then sibling relationship is one of the most lasting relationships during a human lifespan, starting from the birth until the death. And then brothers and sisters spend a lot of time together, more than with anyone else, even including their parents. And the next one, sibling relationship may affect other relationships in the family. And the last one, the relationship between siblings strongly affect psychosocial functioning or the ability to engage in relationship with other people. And now, why sibling rivalry? According to Whiteman et al., rivalry between siblings is grounded in each child's need to overcome potential feelings of inferiority. Even though sibling rivalry does not always about a physical fight, this is a common problem within a family. Therefore, we decided to discuss it by analyzing 3 picture books with this theme.
Hi, my name is Arimbi Putri and I'm going to explain to you the theory we're going to use to analyze these 3 picture books. So, in analyzing these 3 picture books, we use the Psychoanalysis Theory as it examines behavior as the result of a human's certain psychological state. According to Sigmund Freud, humans have a psychological structure consisting of 3 elements, namely the id, ego, and superego based on List Tyson research. These 3 things are distinctive but still have interconnection with each other. Sigmund Freud analogizes the 3 elements as ice cubes or mental iceberg, which are visible on the surface only a small part of all elements. The 3 elements that are usually used to analyze human behavior is called Freud's model of the mind. The first one called superego, which is the part of the mind that houses morals and higher values, which encourages us to behave in socially and ethically acceptable ways. The second one is ego, where it grows in order to serve as buffer between the unrealistic id and the external reality. It is the part of the personality that makes decisions. The ego in its ideal state is rational, whereas the id is chaotic and illogical. Finally, the last one is id. It is the most primal and instinctual aspect of one's psyche. It includes the sex life instinct, or called eros, which contains the libido as well, and the aggressive or death impulse, called thanatos, as well as all the inherited or biological components of personality present at birth. To examine the sibling rivalry interpretation in these 3 picture books, according to Levy, A child's reaction to a new infant is an excellent example of a difficult circumstance that frequently leads to violent behavior such as assaulting the baby or mother or both. However, when it comes to sibling rivalry, the angry reaction to the new baby is so common that it's reasonable to claim it's a normal part of family life.
Hello, my name is Sindi Natalia and I'm going to continue the presentation. Here are the books that we use for this presentation. The first book titled When Miles Got Mad, which was written by Abby Seiler and Samantha Counter. This book was originally published in April 2013. The second picture book titled I Used to Be Famous. It is a children's book by Tara Loop and Becky Cathy, illustrated by Joanne Leofritov. This book was originally published in 2019. And the last book that we use is Zoe's Room, No Sisters Allowed. This is a book by Bethany Dini Murguia and published in 2013. When Miles Got Mad tells the readers about the conflict between two siblings, Miles and Max. Miles has a little brother who broke his favorite airplane toy, which makes him mad over his little brother. He saw a red furry monster in the mirror, which is the reflection of his anger. By explaining the reasons why he was angry, the monster got smaller and then disappeared. And here is our analysis of this picture book using a psychoanalysis approach by Sigmund Freud. Through this book, we can see how Miles tries his best to solve the problem between him and his little brother. We can also see how the ID, ego, and superego are depicted through his action and surroundings. Miles' ID taught him to stay angry and yelling to Max, which commonly known as pleasurable principle in psychological terms. Because his brother broke his airplane toys, so being mad at his brother is the only pleasurable thing for him to do at that moment. For the ego, we can see it when Miles tries to talk to himself in the mirror. He sees himself as a furry red monster because of his anger. The red monster is the mental image of the ID's primary process, who tell him to hit the pillow and explain the reason why he is mad. The ego also becomes the decision maker based on the superego, in which Miles releases his anger by hitting the pillow, which also known as displacement. When he spilled all of his wounds to the mirror, he saw the monster string, which means his anger has already calmed down. Ego is how someone finds an object in the real world that matches the mental image created by the ID's primary process. And lastly, the superego is how people civilize their behavior. In this picture book, Miles finally accepts that his toy is broken and he should not blame and mad over his brother because he is still too young to understand it all. And finally, he chose to invite his brother to help him to repair that toy together.
And then the title of the second book is I Used to Be Famous. This book talks about the daughter is used to being the star in the house until she has a little sister. She lost all of the attention from family. She feels sad and rivaled by her. However, as the time passed by, she realized that it is not too bad to share spotlight with the little sister. And then the analysis of this book, I used to be famous. There are three analyses. So the first is about it. Kelly wants to be the center of attention. And the second analysis is about ego. The ego, she is trying to be different in order to get the attention back. And the last analysis is about superego. In superego, she realized that a star should be kind, and so she is willing to share the spotlight.
And the last picture book titled Zoe's Room, No Sister Allowed. This book tells the readers about how Zoe loves to play in her own world at night as a queen after her mother is done with the story time and everything. She always does it as her routine every night. But it all changed when her mother asked Zoe to share her room with Eddie, her little sister. She couldn't play at night again because Eddie would simply wake up and cry out loud that made their mother come to their room. The cycle keeps on repeating since Zoe only thinks and cares about her unhappiness. Even when she does it all carefully, her sister still wide awake when she hears the noises that she made. Until one day, Zoe realized that they too can be queens in the room.
So the analysis for this story, the it here is Zoe's desire to own her space or her room in this case, and also the freedom to play at night like before. Here she could not accept that she has to sleep at night because there is a little sister sleeping in her room. Therefore, her ego leads her to keep playing at night in silence. However, she is always failed and makes her little sister cries. In the end, she finds out that they actually can get along together. As a sister, finally she can accept the fact that they share a room and also in the end they play together as queens in the room.
The advantage of reading these picture books for parents will be able to understand better about children's relationship with their siblings. Parents will be able to help their children understand how to overcome the situation when they got into a fight, help their children feel safe and connected, and help their children recognize that while emotions are fleeting. While the advantage for children is to help themselves learn the message from these books that fighting with their sibling is not something good to be done, but sibling rivalry can nurture emotional intelligence, boost social skills, and they can learn complex lessons about communication, problem solving, and impulse control and conflict resolution. A healthy siblings rivalry can help children achieve greater heights. It can teach communication skill and relationship skills. Not all competition is negative, only when it's taken too far and parents don't recognize it. Above it all, it starts with the parents. Not only should they never play favorite or join on in any of the competitive banter, but they should also teach the children to love each other unconditionally. It will make it easier for them to deal with their siblings' success.
So here are the references list. We use Sibling Relationship, Quality and Psychopathology of Children and Adolescents by Bowles, Dikovic, and Prinzi. And then we use I Used to Be Famous by Katie and Luebe. And then there is When Miles Got Mad by Kurtzman Counter and Sheila. The Hostile Act, a Psychological Review by Levy. Psychology Perspectives by McLeod. Zoe's Room, No Sisters Allowed by Murgia. And then Critical Theory Today, a user-friendly guide by Tyson. And then last but not least, Theoretical Perspectives on Sibling Relationships by Whiteman and McHale.
Thank you very much for your great attention. May all that we have shared be beneficial for all of us. We were sorry if we have mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.